The 2021 rainy season is expected to be overall wet in the region, according to the forecasting made by the expert from Agrimet Regional Center, the African Center of Meteorological Application for Development, ACMAD. For this rainy season, it is expected early to normal onset of the season, a late to normal ending of the season, and dry spells. These forecasts have been made during the 2021 session of the Presass, the annual seasonal forecasting forum on agro-hydroclimatic characteristics for the Sudanian and Sahelian zone, held online from 26 to 30 April 2020. We are in a very critical period of the year where all stakeholders, especially those from the rural area, are expecting with much attention the information on the coming trend of the season. They are wondering whether we are going to experience a rainy season like the one of last year, or we are going to experience a dry season. These questions are asked with much sensitivity due to the fact that the region is very sensitive to the rainy season, and also due to the fact that from one year to another the season changes suddenly. So the seasonal forecast, hydroclimatic seasonal forecasts that have been co-produced by experts from SILS Agreements, experts from ACMAT, from National Meteorological and Hydrological Services, from the 17 SILS-AOS member countries, from basin organizations, but also with the collaboration of regional and international scientists. And these represent key data to address those situations. It is expected rainfall amounts that are equivalent to above the seasonal average of the 1980-2010 period. As for the forecasting of the onset date of season, it is overall expected over the Sahelian strip early to average over the center and east of the same strip, and far north of Gulf of Guinea countries. However, it is expected a normal onset over the western parts, including Senegal, the Gambia, Guinea, and far south Mauritania and western Mali. As for the ending dates of season, they are very likely to be late to normal over most Sahelian and Sudanian strip, including South Chad, the agricultural zone of Niger, South Mali, Burkina Faso, North Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, far south Mauritania, and most part of Senegal, the Gambia, and half east of Guinea. As for the river flow outlook in the different basins of the CCR-AOS region on which this forecasting have been made, it is overall expected average to surplus situation. However, we have some pockets, especially in the southwest of the West African region. More specifically, it is expected an average to surplus in the basin of Senegal. The same situation will be expected in the basin of the Gambia, but with more sensitivity. As for the upper basin of the Niger, a normal to surplus situation is expected as well. However, in the area of the inner delta of the Niger River, especially in Mali and in the medium Niger in Niger, a surplus situation is expected. This same surplus situation is expected for the basin of the Komadougou-Yobe, with less sensitivity. Still, in the Niger basin, in its Nigerian parts, in the lower delta of the Niger River, also in the sub-basin of Benue that include the Cameroon part, East Nigeria, we are expecting an average situation. As for the Lake Chad system, particularly in the Charlie Lagoon, it is expected a surplus situation for the 2021 season. As for the Lueme Basin, which is a fully Beninese basin, the expected flow are above the baseline average, which is the one of 1981-2010 period. It is the same situation with the Lueme Basin, which is shared with Benin and Togo, the Opti Basin, and the Lower Volta, which is in its Ghanaian part and Togolese parts. However, in the upper basin of the Volta, in Burkina and in Mali, it is expected strongly surplus flow, largely above average of the baseline periods. In the Congo Basin, which is shared with Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire, it is expected average to surplus flow. It is the same for the Bandama Basin, which is a fully Ivorian basin. However, in the Sassandra Basin, which is also Ivorian basin, it is expected an average to deficit situation. The same situation is expected for the Kavili Basin, which includes river in Guinea and Liberia. It is expected average to deficit trends. Finally, we have other basins in the Liberia territory, especially the basin of St. Paul, the basin of St. John, and the Liberian part of the Mano Basin. It is expected flow that are below the average of the baseline period. This is the outlook of the river flow of the CCR-AOS region. In order to prevent the flooding risk, the experts have proposed some measures to address the anarchic use of flood-prone areas, especially in the urban zone, but also measures were taken to anticipate the security. Given the situation of the season, which include above average rainfall total and surplus river flow, the flooding risk is very high in the Sahelian countries as well as those of all West Africa. To avoid all those risks, a number of recommendations were made. First, to prevent the anarchic use of flood-prone areas, especially in the peri-urban areas, in the urban agglomeration. It was also recommended to take anticipative measures to secure populations that are already in flood-prone areas and infrastructure that have been installed in those zones. It was also recommended to strengthen the protection dikes against flood. Also, to ensure the regular cleaning of sewage gutter. I believe it is the right moment to start that cleaning in the major agglomeration. It was also recommended to closely monitor the alert threshold, especially at the level of the different sites where the flooding risk is high. Also, seasonal forecast communication should be strengthened. That is a strong recommendation because today a large part of the population ignore the use of these seasonal forecasts. The idea is to put a special emphasis on communication by doing the translation and the awareness of the population as for all the risks in relation with the seasonal forecast that were made, and that will permit to reduce the disaster risk. According to the head of the Information and Research Departments, the accreditation of the Agreement Regional Center as Regional Climate Center will permit to set it as an institution in charge of climate issues in the Sahel and West Africa. The accreditation of the Agreement Regional Center as Regional Climate Center for West Africa and Sahel, with the support of WMO and ECOWAS, will permit to strengthen the collaboration that is already existing among different stakeholders and the players of that process, and also to strengthen the coordination, be it at national level, regional level, and international level, but also including the professional association and all other humanitarian stakeholders, so that each and everyone can play its role. Recommendations related to phytosanitary risk, food insecurity, drought, and water-related diseases were made by experts from the region.